Hi again, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be using quite a few different things today to do this card here. So we've used the frame squares. I've also used a little bit of down at the den, a little bit of the Woodland Retreat, a little bit of the Wildflower Woods, and a tiny little bit of the Forest Flora as well. So quite a few, but it's great to show you how things mix together. So the first thing we've done is layer all the stencils onto the card, and then I've removed the middle panel. So we've used a little bit of the Sticks to repositionable adhesive again, and we've stuck those all to the front of the card, and then we have used the wax paper just to rub on the back to lubricate our ball tool, and then with our ball tool we are just pushing that cardstock into the front of that card panel. So start with the bigger one, and then with the smaller one you're just going to really reinforce that card into the front of your stencil, so now your card is actually flush with your stencil. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to do is to do our base. So to do this I've used a little piece of paper that we've cut in two. So this top one, I've got a little bit of removable adhesive on there, so we're going to pop it about here. And then I'm going to use my dry baby wipe, and we're just going to add in some of the grass or the ground. So we're just going to use a little bit of bamboo, and we're going to blend just onto the card. So make sure that you're blending off the edge of your scrap paper so you get a nice neat finish to your card. Okay, now you don't have to fill the whole thing, but it is good if you have a little bit of colour just on the bottom, so that when you remove all the stencils later, you will have a nice edge to it as well. Okay, so the other side will perfectly mask out this side, but this time I'm just going to make sure I can see a little bit of the green just showing at the top there, so I know I'm not going to over mask it. Now I always find it easier to colour in a downwards direction. So for this we're going to do the sky, and I'm going to use a little bit of canary and a little bit of chameleon. Now this is a new canary ink, so you can see how wet and how vibrant that is. So it's very, very important that you make sure that you get a lot of this colour on your scrap paper before you blend downwards. I turn my card around because it's just easier to blend in a downwards direction for me, and I just find it works a lot neater. Little bit of the red, and again they're both quite new inks, so I just need to be a little bit careful when I'm doing this. So I'm going to go all the way around the edge doing exactly the same thing. So first with a little bit of yellow, and then just follow with a little bit of red, like that. All the way around, so you can see how vibrant that colour is. So the red really just helps to tone that down as well and just soften the whole look. But again, you might want to get rid of some of that onto your scrap before you actually take that onto your card. Okay, so we've gone all the way around now. So this means when we take the stencil off in a bit, we're going to have a very nice edge running all the way around it. Okay, so let's leave it there. Don't be afraid of the white space in the middle. We're going to be stamping over the top of that anyway. So my next step, I'm going to use the tree trunk. And again, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go all the way across this in bark. And like I said, if you can't get hold of that, then cocoa. Basically, as long as you've got two browns, it doesn't really matter if one is not exactly the same as mine, as long as you've got two colours and one's got to be significantly darker than the other one. Okay, so all over in the palest one first. This keeps your inks a lot cleaner, and then we're just going to edge all the way around in the pine cone, just underneath here. Now you've got to be careful because you don't really want a solid line. So what I'm going to do is just touch over the top like that, just to blend. Now this is going to stamp straight over our mask, so it'll kind of appear as if it's behind this little grassy hill when we take it off. Make sure you always walk your fingers all the way around your stamp to make sure you get a nice neat impression. Okay, there we go. So once you've done that, now we can start to fill in the background. So we're going to use some of the ones from the Wildflower Woods. And again, I'm going to use two colours. So this is boysenberry, but you could use peony. Peony is probably one of my favourite colours, just can't find it at the moment. So it doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as it's a purpley pink, or again, you could go for blues. Entirely up to you. So two colours, And then we're just going to start to stamp that just in the background of that tree trunk. And then make sure that you don't re-ink every single time. You want the ink to run out on the stamp so that when you're stamping, it's going to look like you've got lots and lots of flowers in the background rather than just one line of them. So basically you can just stamp this as many times as you can without re-inking until you're not really getting an impression. And if I want to sort of have some higher ones in the background, I can use this tree trunk and just sort of stamp over the edge of it like that, because you're not really going to see it in front here because the tree trunk is so dark. So that'll do for that one. And then let's just use some plain green for this one here. So let's just pop that up there like that. So we've got lots of foliage all in the background here. And just fill that up. Okay, now we could also put a few little mushrooms in. So let's do, this is from our new mushroom set. So let's just put a couple of them just in there like that. And again, the same thing applies. Just stamp them out a couple of times without re-inking. And let's have a little bit of greenery coming down as well. So this is also from the Wildflower Woods. So let's just pop that. Just coming off the edge here. So these stencils are also protecting the edges of your card. So you're keeping it nice and clean until we decide what it is we're going to be doing with them. Okay, so you've got some lovely little berries hanging. And let's do another little trailing vine as well. So this is all from the Wildflower Woods. But again, it just gives it a little bit of texture. Sort of makes it look a bit like a little fairy glen or something. So we're going to use the bird. And we're going to pop that on the this little bit that's sticking up here. And then we're just going to work around the edges of the bird. Excuse me. All the way around, making sure we leave a little bit of that blue. So this one's going to go right in that little branch bit there, like that. Okay, so once we've done that, we could use a couple of little flowers. So let's just let's try this one, and we'll just dot these into the background, just like that, just so we've got a few extra little flowers in there as well. So this is from the new Forest Flora set as well. So we're really making this nice and full and gorgeous. Okay, so let's take this bottom bit off. And then I want to add another little bit of grass just in that corner. So again, I'm going to turn that around. I'm going to go back to my dry baby wipe. And we're just going to add a little bit of green just coming off the edge here to give it a little bit of shadow. And then I'm going to take some of the grass. And we're just going to stamp this off the edge. So just like that. And you'll notice as well, I'm actually using the lids to my inks, so never throw these away. They're great for all your little stamps, anything that you're not rotating especially. Okay, so there's our little bit of green. So let's add, whether we can fit both of the hedgehogs in here, I'm not 100% sure, but let's see what we can do. So again, because I want some shadow on the hedgehog, I'm going all over with the palest ink, and then I'm just going to touch the bottom, all the way around the bottom of the hedgehog like that, and a little bit on the top, just to add a little bit of shadow to him as well. And then we'll pop him about there. And then let's see if we can fit the little one in as well. But these would make a beautiful little engagement card. Maybe not in this particular setting, but you could actually put the little hearts just between the two little hedgehogs. If we do animals, we usually tend to get them so they're facing each other. Okay, so there's our little hedgehogs. So now what I want to do is put some colour just around this panel here. So basically we're going to miss a panel and then we're going to take this panel off. So that is this one here. So we've left one on and we've taken this one off. Okay, so if you want some colour on that as well, what you can do first is just emboss it again. So this will bring the actual card in line with your stencil. So all the way around with your wax paper, and you should be able to see, I don't know if you can see it very clearly on the camera, but you should be able to see a little bit of where the actual stencil is on the other side of the card. And then again, we're just going to push the cardstock in, so hold on to it, and then just push the cardstock down and into that little gap that you've got there. So I'm just going to turn it because it makes it a bit easier because I'm left-handed. And then we're just going to go all the way around this frame here, like that. So it's a really, really good guide, and it's actually really, really straightforward as well when you've got the cardstock pushed down, so you can just see a little bit of it coming through with your wax paper. So it really, really does help. So once you've got the basic of that, then you just go back in with a smaller embossing tool and just really sort of crispen that edge up that we've got there already. Okay, then we can turn that back to the front, and now you'll see it's pushed forward. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of colour. Now I do not want a lot, so I'm going to get rid of a lot of this, and then we're just going to use a little bit of the yellow, and we're just going to run all the way around just to sort of tinge the little edge here, this little frame that we've got going on. So there are so many ways to sort of mix these stencils up. You can do a lot with them. The oval one that we did previously, I'll show you a little example of what we've done with that, just very, very simply, just to give us a background oval. I'll show you that before we finish. A little bit of red just over the top. Now you could stamp on this if you wanted to. So while you've got this mask in place, you could put the middle mask back over the top like that, and then you could actually stamp onto there as well if that's what you wanted to do. Okay, so once we've done all that, this can peel off. So that gives you that lovely centre panel, and then we can peel off the outer edge as well, like that. And I'm hoping that you can actually see on the camera these lovely raised edges that you've got here. So the last thing to do really is just to finish this off with a little bit of liquid pearls. So just in the centre of some of these flowers, and just to get rid of some of the height on the liquid pearls, you just tap your cardstock afterwards. So a little bit. And then if we want to, probably should have done it before, but we can add a little greeting on the top of this. So let's see what we've got. I think maybe that might be a bit big, but let's pop. Oh, here we are. I'm not usually this disorganised, but let's pop this one in. So this one says, in all things nature, there is something of the marvellous. And this one. So do this before you actually put liquid pearls on, so you don't sort of squash that, but let's just get that in as well. Okay, and there we go. So there's your finished little sample. And then the one that I was talking about before, we've just used very, very simply the oval, and we've just stenciled through the open oval in the centre of the mask as well, and then just put some flowers down the side. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope you keep safe, stay indoors, and just do some nice crafting. All right, and I'll look forward to doing another tutorial very soon. Take care, bye.